So Saturn has officially moved back into Aries. Welcome home, the rebellious child. The reason that Saturn has to do with the rebellious child, the inner child learning to rebel, is because Saturn puts restrictions on the mind of the young, meaning parents, possibly, who were getting in the way, authoritarian figures who were getting in the way. So that child has to learn how to, within those restrictions, outsmart those who have authority above them. Personally, as a Saturn in Aries, I love this skill and I'm very grateful for it. It does make those youthful lessons very difficult sometimes. However, because Saturn is in Aries, normally those lessons happen before the possibility of a really, really bad outcome years and years ahead. So like you might hit something kind of hard now, but then 7 years later be in a situation where you realize why you learned that lesson in the first place. Saturn in Aries is a little strange like that. Saturn in Aries is also going to be one of the rulers of our upcoming eclipse in Aquarius. We're going to talk more about that in another video. Also, more on the Saturn return for Saturn in Aries in another video as well. But for now, let's cover a couple more things about Saturn in Aries that you're going to need to know just for the future heads up stuff. Get really, really, really acquainted with your mind. The way your mind works, the way your mind moves, the way your mind grooves. All the stuff that happens up in that beautiful brain of yours, there is now restrictions on your head. Partially, that means we're going to be forced into our mind a little bit more than we normally would be. Personally, again, as a Saturn in Aries, I'm not complaining about that. Welcome home. I love it here. Okay. Saturn in Aries with the Pluto in Aquarius and with the upcoming Aquarius eclipses also is going to mean that there's going to be predictive things happening within the mind and within your Aries placements on a personal level and your personal Saturn too. And honestly, if we're going to get really into it, Pluto and Aquarius and how that lines up with your chart, also interested in this topic. That's true. But the things that are happening in your head more than once, do something about it, because there's more than likely either going to be a situation or an opportunity, something coming up that your time has already crossed into. You just haven't reached it yet. And your brain is trying to let you know, hey, let's get it together. Hey, those ideas you keep having, let's do something about that. Hey, you want to get more into structure, regimented routine, whatever it might be? Okay, yeah, let's take some steps to do that. So definitely watch that, pay attention to it. Beautiful. Some other stuff about Saturn in Aries to note. If you are trying to build hierarchy and or business, career, money, government, politics, etc. Saturn related stuff, right? If you're working with that or are interested in working with that, planning some things, get ready to go to war. Strategy, victory, losses, sacrifices. Do you have logistically what you need to move forward? The other part about this is that if you have the idea, act on it now. Saturn in Aries is very akin to if you do nothing with the idea right now, it will either be vanquished in your own world or it will move on to someone else and they will be able to do something with it themselves. The tricky part about Saturn in Aries, because Saturn has to do with restriction, especially with Neptune in there, but we'll talk about that more in another video as well. Tricky part about Saturn in Aries, knowing when to act on those impulses and when not to at the very beginning, because those impulses at the very beginning, that is what builds structure and order with Saturn in Aries. There is not a lot of planning, but there is a lot of gut movement. There is a lot of action. There's a lot of activity. And there are things created out of that have to do with structure and hierarchy. But before we get into it, there, again, not a lot of planning. Lots of strategy, for sure. Lots of thinking, probably, too. But again, not a lot of planning. Also with Saturn in Aries, a lot of the times things don't go to plan. So just a heads up on that one. If you find yourself diverting or doing something different than you thought you would, or you're starting something new that you never thought you could, that makes sense to me. So we're going to talk about Saturn in Aries on some other acquainted levels with some other stuff going on with the astrological transits in other videos, like I said, multiple different times in this one. But as an introduction, welcome. Here we go. Are you excited? Because as a Saturn in Aries, I'm excited to be home. I'm liking this energy and I'm grateful that it's back. We're done with Saturn in Pisces, finally. So thank God we're here, right? Thank the goddess too. Anyways, gratitude, rivers of love to you. Keep up the brew that you do. I will too. Come and catch my other videos if you want to come see what else is up with Saturn and Aries. We got a lot to talk about. So here we go. Get comfy. It's a couple days till the eclipse, February 17th in Aquarius. It's a good time to make some change, right? Okay. Keep up the brew you do. I will too. And I'll talk to you soon. Also true.